again, kind of coming back to that, we'll put our nerd hats back on, right, and our data science hats, and say, well, this is all great, right? That we understand the consumer preference. It is clear to us the relative impact of these digital tools, but am I trying to fix something that the industry has already solved for? Right? Am I trying to chase a problem that companies, by and large, have already figured out? And so, with an eye towards that, let's see if I can move the next slide. So, we actually had a team of business analysts and others in the group. We actually looked at 3,000 websites, more than 3,000 websites of companies in this space. Say, what do people have? Right? Maybe we're solving for something we don't need to. And the results, even from our initial hypothesis, were a little bit startling. That 30%, a full 30% of companies that we researched didn't have an online presence, or small enough as to make no difference, right? A landing page, right? That 30% had basically nothing, no other way for the consumer to interact than to just see a Google result for the name of the company or the agency. Only 55%, barely over half, had what we would define as a basic online portal. And there are a lot of moving parts there. Basically, what we did in our evaluation is we built a matrix, we built a grid of all the possible ways that a company could open up communication or engagement with a consumer. That's how we evaluated all these sites. So a basic online portal would be a company who has one way of engagement. Right? They've offered one digital path for consumers to engage. Most commonly found, right? Contact us, leave a message, right? Periodically, we find companies who are, producing their payment portal, right? So you can log in. If you have that information, you can make a payment. But barely over half had even one method of digital engagement with their consumers. And only 15%, right? 15% only had what we identified as a sophisticated self-service option, which realistically is 2 or more ways where a consumer could service, not only engage with the company, but where they could self-serve and do more of these things themselves, right? So the companies that go one step beyond just being able to make a payment, right? Companies that allow you to check your balance, right? And do some other things that we would loosely consider sophisticated, because I guess just in comparison to the rest of what we found in the industry, right? So just the opportunity is so great in this industry to increase digitization and increase channels by which the consumers can engage with you. And by the way, where they want to engage with you and may not in the absence of these tools. So,
and Sean, I would even add to that point, most of us are 9-to-5 type firms with a contact center, and this makes you a 24/7 type of operation, which I think is a huge identifier. I can't believe and couldn't tell you how many people are writing or texting us at 2 o'clock in the morning for basic information, where now we're able to respond at that time via digital means, where, a few months ago we weren't able to.
Yeah, that's such a great point, right? That you're not just engaging with consumers via the channels they are stating a preference for, but giving them an opportunity, with broader digitization, you're giving them the opportunity to serve on their own terms, right? After work, after school, after the kids are in bed, something, right? So you can handle it on your own time, on your own terms. And just looking at these data here, it's startling, right, to see how many companies just don't provide that option to their consumers, right? And something that, you mentioned earlier, Scott, from a millennial generation perspective, if you don't have an app, if you don't have a really full functioning website, I'm not calling you, right? I'm not going out of my way to call the company during your hours, right? If I don't see you online, if I don't see you on an app, I'm just not paying attention.